Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Starchild podcast. I'm Starchild. Today, we are going to be talking about film school, and is it worth it? Um, Film school, in my opinion, isn't such a bad idea to learn the basic fundamentals of what it takes to make a movie and all the various components um, into making a film. However, with the internet, it's much easier to access all the information that you really need to know to make movies. And you can learn the basics and the fundamentals, in a matter of a couple weeks. And many of my favorite film directors say that the best film school is just to watch a bunch of movies, which definitely rings true. So, other than teaching the basic fundamentals of film school also provides you good a good way to access networking with film writers, producers, actors, and other people that are passionate with film. So that's another positive. um, but after you have the basic fundamentals of film down, all you really need is a camera and a good story. Um, and so, other than the positives of film school, I think it being so expensive and kind of too time consuming when you think about rather than just learning, how to make a film, just make a film. And in that process, through trial and error, you will grow as a filmmaker. Um, so, one thing that I kind of believe is that you can't teach creativity. Um, I think every child, when it's born, is born a very loving, creative, imaginative baby. But as it grows up, society tends to beat our creativity out of us for survival's sake. And thus, the arts kind of suffer because of that. So I'm trying to kind of rekindle people's creative imaginations again, because I think that's deep inside us all at our core. And that's something that you can't really teach someone to do. It's in us. It's in us all, creativity, but to various degrees, of course. And so if you're a super creative person, I think it's probably a better idea to educate yourself on the business side of film and the film industry, because there's just a lot of commercialization out there that, thinking going to film school is a good idea at first. It will get you in touch with the people that you want to get in touch with. But with the commercialization and a lot of the film industry revenue going towards commercials and just kind of big budget films, a lot of the art that filmmakers crave in the beginning, film students crave, gets lost along the way as it kind of becomes more of a job. So to avoid it being a job, I recommend filmmakers just going kind of the Werner Herzog route, going a more guerrilla style filmmaking, and make the movies that you want to see. Make the movies that haven't been made yet that you want to see get made. Make those yourself. So I'm indifferent with film schools. I think they are worth it, except when it comes to the expenses involved. I think film school is just outrageously expensive, and it's kind of a shame that the arts have been defunded over the decades, and I don't think filmmaking should be a job. It's a wonderful art medium that many Americans haven't explored enough, because a majority of the films that are put out are franchise films, very big budget blockbuster films that don't really deal with the emotional intelligence that many of the older American films and foreign films have. Like Martin Scorsese says, these kind of franchise blockbuster films are a different form of film in a way, just like miniseries and streaming is a new kind of genre of filmmaking. It all comes down to personal taste. I'm kind of in the Scorsese camp, where I appreciate filmmaking that deals with what it means to be human, and that has stories that deal with real life, essentially. Stories that have elements that people can relate to, because he refers to those big franchise films as amusement park films, kind of just big explosive stories, but without a lot of emotion. But going back to film school, watching films is the best film school. And the reason why I brought up that Scorsese comment is because a lot of the film industry money is going towards those franchise films, and less is going towards the film genre that Scorsese talks about, having to deal with stories that have emotional intelligence and heart and deal with the everyday. So at the end of the day, you don't need film school to make films. They do have their positives. However, I just wish that film school was less expensive than it is. I wish every college and university was less expensive than they are. I think that the cost of college and university and film school, all of the above, the costs are starting to outweigh the benefits. You know, you can't be sinking into tens of thousands of dollars into debt just to say that you're qualified to do something that you're already qualified to do in your own right, without permission of a certificate, you know, to say that, okay, you're a filmmaker now. You know, your body of work as a filmmaker should speak for you, in my opinion. So entirely up to you. If you can afford it, you know, by all means, take advantage of the opportunities that you can, wherever you can. But I firmly believe that everyone has at least one good idea, and if you're super creative, you probably are. You have many good ideas on a daily basis, and so you need to take those ideas and make the films that you want to see get made ultimately. And that is my take on film school. So thank you for watching. I'm Starchild. Catch me next week. All of my information is in the description below. Check out my website, starchildgallery.com, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Oh yes, hang on one second. I wanted to show you basically this clip of Paul Thomas Anderson, a film director, a younger film director that I appreciate. He made Boogie Nights. Oh my gosh, that's such a great 90s film. If you haven't seen it, watch it. There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis, who plays a madman oil tycoon at the turn of the 20th century. And this is his interview with Charlie Rose on his take of film school and his experience. So here we go.
You dropped out of school because all you wanted to do was to learn how to make movies.
Yeah. That seems to me the only way to go, you know? I mean, film school was never an option. It seems to me to be a waste of time and a waste of money, in all honesty, really. I mean, certainly I had a leg up in that I was born and bred in Los Angeles, where, you know, to get a job on a film set is, you know, just as easy as, you know, I don't know.
And then Detroit getting a job working for an auto
company. Exactly. So I did have a leg up there, you know. It's just it surrounds you. But you know, my film education really came from watching other movies, you know, and I think there's a scary mentality, I think, in film schools. My small sort of dealing with them is something that's really terrifying. I walked into a film class and it was about screenwriting, and this guy, the opening line was, you know, if you're here to write Terminator 2, just leave now. And I thought, well, that's terrible. Could be a kid in the corner there that wants to write Terminator 2. That's his vision. That's his movie. That's what he likes. Let him do it, you know. And the mentality at film schools is we'll start out with, you know, Potemkin. First day in class, here's Potemkin. You know, every kid in the class is going to just fall down. You know, what do? It's like they should do it backwards, you know. Start with Terminator 2 and work backwards and sort of and ease into this and sort of, you know, trace the heritage, you know, trace it back. Watch a Scorsese movie, which everyone sort of loves in the class and is very excited by, and trace back and go, okay, here's who he was riffing off of. Here's these patents that he has kind of built upon, you know, and study it that way.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Starchild. StarchildGallery.com is my website. Info will be in the description below. Catch me next week. Thank you so much for watching.